Get your finger off the keyboard. I know. This one isn't the fan footage one. You're all going to start typing it, but the first section is. It's my list. It counts. Also, it's really fun. So with some bad Spanish pronunciation, I'm sure, throughout, let's talk about Rec 3 Genesis. I said that once in a Spanish accent. It sounded terrible. This was directed by Paco Plado, who co-wrote the screenplay with Luis Oberdejo, and they developed the story alongside David Gayat. It stars Leticia Dolera, Diego Martin, Emilio Manchetta, and Miguel Angel Gonzalez. And the reason I said that last one is because he is John Esponja. And me and my partner love the character of Sponge John. I'm going to say it that way, it's easier. And we always expect that it's Sponge John Roundpants because he's obviously more rounded appearance, but that's not the character's name, he's just Sponge John. We've made that up to make it fit the SpongeBob, or it's the Mandela thing, if you believe in that. But like I say, this starts out like the others, fan footage, and then it develops into a normal film, a more traditional narrative film. And for some, I'm sure that was a deal breaker. They probably hate it because why did you wreck not wreck as a pun, but why did you ruin that thread, and just go for a normal film? I think it worked better for that. They could do a lot more. They could have a lot more fun with it, with, some of the musical bits and some of the set pieces. Just wouldn't have worked as well with someone holding a camera throughout. So I appreciate how it started in the same vein, because that was the setup. We see Tio Pepe, sort of having been bitten as sort of, I guess, the disease vector in this patient zero in this location. And it obviously just spirals from there into insanity before the film sort of really takes off. But it's not a long film either. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It really gets into the action and keeps going. Even some of the down moments, are still maybe setting things up. There's a lot that's happening in the back of scenes, and, we understand that stuff's going on in other places. And I think it's maybe not a Rec film in the real sense. I mean, you can watch this without having watched the others. All the stuff about where it's come from and the real, I guess, image of these creatures in mirrors and reflections and things like that. Like, that stuff you can just go, oh, well, let's just have a look. You don't have to already have the understanding of what came before. And that to me means that I don't feel bad about saying Rec 3 as my first one I talk about. Because, like I say, it's so fun. But with that, even the fun is tempered. That end scene, I was in tears this time. I think maybe once or twice. I've watched this quite a few times, but maybe once or twice I've felt like that. But mostly I've just been along for the ride. I'm like, okay, this is the sad bit at the end. But I really got upset this time. I was so invested in it. I forgot that I'd seen it before, in a sense, and I was just along for the journey. And that shows that whilst it is very silly and over the top in places, the human element, the core of any story, any good story worth telling, that human element is so present here that you really do care at the end. It is heartbreaking, that ending. I'm being vague because I don't know how many people have seen this. It may be like the red-headed child, if you will, of the Rec family, and people tend to skip it. Especially if people go on Reddit, like, what ones can I watch? Just watch the series. Don't ask other people. But for those who haven't seen it, I do think it's one of those that you need to go on the journey, allow yourself to really be taken in by it. But this is the cap of the month. This is the end of my fan footage month, and it's going live actually on Halloween, which is pretty cool. But from this being a sequel that took something fan footage and then kind of changed it, I'm probably, unless something really goes wrong or something comes in that I need to talk about, I do want to do Blair Witch 2. It's been on my list for a while because I think that's got more of a bad rep than it deserves. It's not a great film, but I really do want to talk about it. So that'll hopefully be next week's, and maybe I'll do a few things along that vein of where series took different turns. Maybe some of the sequels to things I've talked about during this month as well, depending if people want them or if I really want to talk about them. But that's it. Fan footage month is over. You can breathe a sigh of relief. And whatever you're doing, like whether you're doing something tonight, tomorrow, whether you've already done it, potentially, but I hope everyone has a happy, safe, fun Halloween. And yeah, until next time, take care.